that everything is right, change the tires, and then get back on track again. Okay? That's what these pit stops are, I would say, in the Islamic calendar as well. They are good opportunities and excuses just to double check and put ourselves in check. That are we really doing what we're supposed to do to maximize on the love of Ahl-e-Bait? Why do I say that? Because I don't want to sell myself short. Yes, inshallah, we're all going to go to Jannah, hopefully, inshallah. But man, a person who can really maximize, because the sky is the limit when it comes to the akhirah. They're not going to sell themselves short. The imams wouldn't sell themselves short. We're not going to do that either. I want to maximize on this love. I don't want to be one who, on the day of judgment, they say you could have had all of this, but you have this one. But I had love of Ahl-e-Bait. They'll say, yeah, you had love of Ahl-e-Bait. But did you know there was different definitions to love of Ahl-e-Bait? Oh, really? What are you talking about? Definitions, different definitions. Love of Ahl-e-Bait means I love them. We're set. Yeah, well, according to our ulama, you're set if you don't go to Jahannam, but not going to Jahannam isn't the best that one can wish for. There are other things that are higher than just not going to Jahannam that one can aim for and aspire for. Okay? And this is where I want to share with you one hadith, but there's tons of similar hadiths that remind us, hey, maximize on this love. This love can get you places. And then here I am, happy that alhamdulillah, we have the love of them. Sometimes you know what it sounds like actually. Sometimes when we are really bragging about who we love, which is the Ahl-e-Bait, which really it's something to take pride in. It's not a bad thing to be proud about. But sometimes you feel like, you know that little kid who's all scrawny and weak, but talks about his older cousin that's all strong and stuff, and he's walking around putting his chest out. My cousin can do this, my cousin can do that, he'll beat you up. You're like, yeah, he can beat me up probably, but I can beat you up. What do you have? Look at you. If I push you, you fall over and nothing. By the time your cousin gets here, you're done. And so sometimes it seems like we are sounding like that. Oh, did you know my imam did this? My Mawla, he never turned in any battlefield, but your Mawla, he ran away in Uhud. Okay, wonderful. Yes, we know that, and we understand and we take pride in the fact that our Mawla is not like that. But how much of these manaqib, these fada'il have rubbed off on me? Yeah? One of these lecture series last year in the month of Ramadan, someone gave a lecture series on Dhul Faqar and the Sheikh. He was talking about Imam Ali alayhi salam, but not on the battlefield, when the Dhul Faqar was Sheikh, how his akhlaq was, and how his demeanor and all of that was. So we want to maximize on that, which brings me to a hadith by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The last thing I want is to enter the mahshar on the day of judgment. They tell me, hey, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. I'm like, but I loved Ahl-e-Bait. They're like, yeah, but okay, here, have a little bit of this, but that's about it. No, I want to maximize. It says here, عن أبي سعيد الخدري, which is that famous companion of Rasulullah. He says that Rasulullah, he said something that all of us, when we hear it, we say, Ahsant, he's right, Gio, that's exactly how it is. That من رزقه الله حب أهل بيتي, or الأئمة من أهل بيتي, whoever is given and blessed with the love of the imams of my Ahl-e-Bait. You see, the Prophet narrows it down actually. It's very interesting. He doesn't say my Ahl-e-Bait here. According to the wording here, whoever is granted and blessed with the love of the imams of my Ahl-e-Bait. So straight up, he's talking about us as if. Okay? The love of the imams of my Ahl-e-Bait, فَقَدْ أَصَابَ خَيْرَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. This person has hit the target, has hit the bullseye when it comes to khair of dunya and akhirah. Alright. So right here we say, okay, that's awesome. Yeah, if the hadith would stop here, that would be awesome. But the hadith doesn't stop here. It goes on. It gets even better though, before it goes downhill. It gets better. The Prophet, he goes on. He says, فَلَا يَشُكَّنَّ أَحَدٌ أَنَّهُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. So if you're a lover of the imams of my Ahl-e-Bait, you can have no doubt that you're going to be in Jannah. You're like, Ahsan, blah, blah, blah. Alright, but the hadith right there doesn't stop. So I want you all, inshallah, as I go through it, hold your ears from here on. Don't listen to the rest, okay? Because the rest is going to make it a little harder on us. The Prophet, he says, you know why this person's going to make it to Jannah for sure? And then he's like, because a person who loves my Ahl-e-Bait or the Imams of my Ahl-e-Bait, they have 20 things. 10 of which are in this dunya, 10 of which are in the akhirah. So here I am listening to the Prophet say this, and I'm like, okay, the Prophet, he said 10 good things I'm going to get out of this love for the Ahl-e-Bait. In this dunya, it's probably health, probably wealth, probably life, probably wife. They say wife is life. You know, these kinds of things, okay? And so you're like, okay, let's listen, what are we going to get? We have something in mind, the Prophet has something else in mind. And then he'll go into the 10 that you get in the akhirah. The 10 in the akhirah, we're going to zoom through them, we don't need to explain those, it'll be interesting though. And in the end, there's going to be a conclusion that's going to be drawn from all of this. Yes? And then we'll see, yes, if we're maximizing on this love of Ahl-e-Bait or not. I stress on the word maximize. Why? Because some people will say, oh, your love of Ahl-e-Bait is no good unless you have these things. No. At the end of the day, man, I am not Allah. I'm not going to judge anybody. I'm not allowed to judge anybody. A person who has love of Ahl-e-Bait, but that love doesn't really help them too much, who am I to say this isn't going to benefit them? What we can say though is that this person might not be able to maximize on the benefits of love of Ahl-e-Bait. But that love of Ahl-e-Bait is a spark that God knows whenever it's going to do its thing, it's going to do its thing. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as a disclaimer. No one is saying that love of Ahl-e-Bait on its own is no good. No, it's much better than a lot of other people, trust me. Yeah, but inshallah it'll reach practice as well. But we want to maximize. So the Prophet says, there are 10 things you get out of the love of my Ahl-e-Bait in this dunya. Alright, what's the first one? Of course it's going to be darahim and dananir. It's going to be money. Probably something good like that. He says, أَمَّا الَّتِي فِي الدُّنْيَا. Number 1, فَالزُّهُدْ. You're like, oh man. Okay, let's talk about this one. Az-zuhud. He says, you love my Ahl-e-Bait, right? You're like, yeah, I love your Ahl-e-Bait. He said, okay. Then there's the first thing that will probably catch your eye when you're looking up to my Ahl-e-Bait is that they were Zahid. So you're going to probably be Zahid too. I mean, it's common sense, isn't it? Yeah? I remember there was these kids in the center. We grew up playing basketball in the 90s, alright? We were in high school, the team in high school and all of that. We really had to play hard back then, because back then you played in the paint. None of this three-point girly stuff nowadays, you know what I'm saying? The way they do it now in the NBA. That's how we did it back then. Now I come back to America after the whole lifetime in home, and I'm playing with little kids. These kids, they're wearing like these sleeves and like jersey, like 4 sleeves on the right arm, 3 sleeves on the right arm. Like, what's going on here? Their shoes, the kid can't shoot, can't lay up, can't play defense, can't do nothing. Okay? This kid, when he's taken, he loves this superstar now. Looks up to them and takes from them whatever he sees from them. The Prophet is like, oh, you love my Ahl-e-Bait? You're going to probably look at them and take what you see from them. What's the first thing that I see from them? Is zuhud. What does zuhud mean? Obviously you all, especially the older ones, you know that zuhud doesn't mean not to possess. Zuhud means not to be too attached to things. But I want to say this. Let us not fool ourselves sometimes. The guy's driving around, he has like 50 sports cars, like, I'm not attached, I just possess. I'm like, bro, relax. Alright, who are you fooling, man? Come on. At the end of the day, dunya is sticky, okay? It will stick. So, we want to be careful not to fool ourselves, but yeah, to live an above average lifestyle is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Imam Ali even, he had a good lifestyle until he became Khalifa. Of course, he took himself as low as the lowest and the most poor of his people, but other than that, the Imams, they were above average for sure. When you read all the stories and history and all of that, you see that. But it's one thing to have, another thing to be too attached. But how do I know I'm too attached? How do I know? How can I tell that I actually have zuhd? Obviously, we've all heard that famous verse of the Quran. And Imam Ali in Nahj al-Balagha also, he echoes what the Quran says. If you want to know, if you want a sign that am I too attached, is to see if there's that one thing that you're always trying to get and you finally get it, how happy do you get? Does it reach a point that you have so much farah, they call it, that it's as if you accomplished everything that was expected of you in life? You've seen some of these entrepreneurs, that's how they look at things. Yeah, it's cool nowadays to be an entrepreneur. Like the kid's 15, he's like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, You just got here, but what do you mean entrepreneur? What do you mean? But they write it in their bio, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, well, it's good. Inshallah, you get there. But I don't think you're there now at 15. Anyway, this person